That could very well be.
Speaking of erectile dysfunction, I remember taking a cruise down to Mexico, and it would be
Sure.
like you would stop in one of these ports, and it would be because in Mexico, I guess you could get
No prescription
those
required
with no prescription. So you'd always see these pharmacies down there with 5 pills for like whatever the price was back then. But you could just get it. It's like blatant advertising, like like as if it was buy 5 donuts and get one free or something like that.
Yeah. It went from that. That was back when it was fun to live in America.
Yeah,
because it went from that to opiates.
yes,
and anti-anxiety medications, and now it's Mounjaro and whatever those other injectables, the weight loss diabetes drugs are. Those are the ones that are super popular now that people are bringing back from Mexico.
What are those supposed to do though? I mean, like you said, they're for diabetes. But is there some other?
Oh, so you haven't heard about these? So like all the celebrities are using them. So it's an injectable medication that's essentially an appetite suppressant. It's a hormonal thing, and it works really, really well to limit your appetite and reduce your food intake. And people are taking this and they're just melting weight off of them, even if they don't have diabetes. It's designed to help people who have diabetes and have a problem with their relationship with food that's caused their diabetes to be able to lose weight and get healthier. But it also works for people who don't have diabetes.
Yeah, because it helps them lose weight.
It helps them lose a tremendous amount of people are losing like 25 pounds in like 3 months with this stuff. I mean, it's people who are otherwise like the Kardashians are all on it. And let me rephrase that. The Kardashians allegedly are on it. I don't want to slander anyone. But yeah, there's a lot of celebrities that are supposedly taking this stuff. And like, if you look at anybody who's lost a bunch of weight in the last, year or so, they're probably on Mounjaro or one of the other ones. I can't remember what the other ones are called, but that's the big thing coming back from Mexico now. So,
jeez.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not that, it would be cocaine, right?
Well, that too. that's the individuals aren't so much bringing that back as much as the cartels. Speaking of the cartels, did you hear about the what's going on in Mexico right now with the cartels, where the El Chapo gang, the El Chapo cartel, has basically told all of their dealers no more fentanyl in anything, and if we catch you, we're killing you. And they're killing people for putting fentanyl and stuff now because it's gotten the negative attention in the U.S. And they're like, this is what's going to end us here if you don't knock this shit off. So
bad for business.
No more fentanyl. It's bad for business. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well, at least they're doing something.
Yeah, exactly. They're obviously very worried about U.S. law enforcement and border policy at this point. So
yeah. Well, it would be. Remember watching Narcos? You saw Narcos, right?
I have not seen Narcos yet.
Okay. Well, that's the one thing that these cartels
they did the Narcos Mexico was Arellano Felix, right?
Yeah. And I mean, just the idea of like having the United States, the DEA all coming down is just like, I guess it's the worst nightmare supposedly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, remember Ozark? They portrayed that really well in Ozark too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like the one thing we don't want, don't give the U.S. a reason. Don't make them intervene. They'll leave us alone if we don't make them.
Yeah. So they might even deal with you.
Yeah, exactly. Probably will. Just ask Noriega.
Yeah, exactly.
Right up until we won't.
Yes. You're literally making a deal with the devil.
So, all right. You got anything else, Sarah? I didn't. I don't have anything.
Yeah, I don't. This episode was like yet another episode, which is decent and everything, and it just kind of moves the plot forward.
It does. It was very scattered. It jumped around a lot, but a lot of different POVs.
Yeah, and it is good to see the Constable Bob. He is a character, so
I love Constable Bob.
Yeah, but
not the last appearance of Constable Bob either.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Did I have anything else? No, that's it.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get to our final segment here, and then we'll wrap it up.
I was telling my friends this morning how yesterday you come to me and if you don't get out of town in 24 hours, I'm going to shoot you on sight.
Fire now!
Are you gonna shoot him if you catch him?
I'll kill 4 of you before you even clear your weapons, and I'll take my chances with the other 2.
If you get the chance, shoot him in the nuts.
I don't pull my sidearm unless I'm going to shoot to kill.
Are you going to shoot him too, Raylan? And Raylan in this episode does not shoot anybody. No, there was only one death, and that was Mr. Schreier, Calhoun Schreier, R.I.P., punched by Choo Choo.
Amtracked by Choo Choo.
Amtracked by Choo Choo. Yeah. Now, have you ever seen people get punched like they get knocked out, but it's not the like getting knocked out that kills them. It's like their head.
Oh yeah, it's when they hit the ground. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I watch a lot of those on TikTok. It's crazy. Like these people, like when you hear their head hit the concrete.
Oh yeah, yeah. It sounds like another concrete block hitting the concrete. It's awful.
Yeah, it's awful. But
well, that was like I remember a few years ago, or it was more than a few years ago, probably 15 years ago now. I remember the knockout game. That was a big thing.
That's
and
right.
Like teenagers were like just walking up to people on the street and punching them in the face.
Yeah.
And like people were falling and hitting their heads and yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I won't ride those scooters. You know, those scooters that you that you can get out and like buzz with your phone and ride around, those power scooters.
Oh yeah, like the what is it? Like they're
Lime scooters or there's Uber scooters too and stuff like that. I won't ride those because I'm terrified that I'm going to hit like a pothole or a crack in a sidewalk and I'm going to go sprawling and hit my head.
Yeah. Do they have because they don't have them out here, but they have them in San Diego. I think I've seen them at the beach
like
area.
6 different brands. They're everywhere, or they were pre-pandemic. They were really everywhere. Now they're a little bit less everywhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just don't like. Yeah, you know, like it's almost like you can be a target. You know, like motorcyclists. Oh yeah, like the drivers. Some drivers don't like them. Like I think people don't like the scooter riders either.
No, they don't. They don't. And pedestrians don't like them either because you're not supposed to ride them on the sidewalks in San Diego downtown, and they do anyway.
And they do. So, have you had any of those motorcycle, like the dirt bike guys, like riding around? Have you had any of those?
We haven't had any of those, but I just saw a story today about, I think it was Philadelphia. Was it Philadelphia? Yeah. That just seized like dozens and dozens of ATVs and illegally modified ATVs and dirt bikes that were being used for criminal purposes around the city.
Yeah. Well, there's that video that from, I think it's that same Philadelphia.
Yeah. It's in reaction to that video.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. The one rider, he like, for whatever reason, jumped onto the onto the trunk and then broke the rear window of some, I think it was like a
Uber Eats or DoorDash
Uber Eats or delivery. Yeah. Something like that. And I guess she had her kids in the back.
Yeah. Kids were in the back seat. He smashed the back window.
Yeah. And he pulled a gun, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like it kind of fell out of his, out of his pants while he was pulling it. I don't know. It's just crazy times, man. Crazy times.
Very, very odd. Very odd stuff. Yeah. But all right. Well, on that upbeat note, we'll we're back on our normal production schedule. So you'll see us in this spot on Monday every 2 weeks until we are done with season 6. So we'll be back 2 weeks from today with the next episode of Justified, where we'll find out more about what's going to happen with Seabass and Choo Choo and the Calhoun murder and all of that. As well as the confrontation between Boyd and Raylan coming up at Ava's house. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We say it in that order because it's the easiest order to do it in. So subscribe means you hit the little button that says subscribe in your podcast app of choice, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google Podcasts, which I think Google Podcasts is actually going away. So if that's your podcast app of choice, maybe check out a different one.
You mean they're shutting it down?
I think so. Yeah. I think it's just going to be, it's just going to be called something else maybe, or something like that. But I don't know. I think I read something that said it's going to be shut down, but my podcast app of choice is actually called Podcast Addict. I love Podcast Addict. So if you get a chance to check that one out. So yeah, subscribe, rate is where you give us a rating of 5 stars on the distribution channel of your choice, wherever you're getting the podcast from. Just go in there, click it, give us 5 stars. We appreciate that very much. And then review is where you take the time to write us a detailed review, saying what you like about the show, maybe saying what you don't like about the show. As long as you give us 5 stars, say what you don't like about the show. That's okay. We like to hear it too. Also check us out on the socials. You can find us on X. I got to say, formerly known as Twitter, at Groundless Pod. You can find us on Instagram, Reddit, at Groundless Pod or at Groundless Podcast. You can email us, groundlesspodcast@gmail.com, with your questions, complaints, corrections, especially, and your love trouble. We don't get enough love trouble. I don't think people value our love advice. I am very disappointed.
Yes,
because I think we've provided some very good advice in the past.
It has not spoken yet, clearly.
No. We need more of those emails for you, people.
Yeah,
let's go.
Send them.
Yeah, and then I think that's about it, right? So yeah, that's great. Tell a friend and family too. Don't forget that part. But yeah, so we'll see you back here in 2 weeks, and until then, thanks for listening.